Roque Villamil is a retired fisherman from Sartoneja village. He now moves around Belize city on his cart selling fruits and vegetables. The selection is small. Today it includes plantains, limes, cabbages, and bananas. Inflation is defined as an increase in the price of merchandise. The dramatic upward shift in the cost of goods has forced Roque to increase the prices of these basic food items.
I sell the plantain tree for $1, the market $1 for one.
$1 for one plantain?
One plantain, I sell it $3 for $1.
Okay, and the lime?
The lime $3 for $1. Yeah.
Okay, so you got good price.
I sell it $1.50 for the pound. Banana, I sell it $6 for $1.
But this is more than it used to be.
Yeah.
Why?
I pay $70 for one case of banana, one box. From China, they make nothing, they maybe $5, $4 for the case.
Roque, like many other vendors and consumers across the country, is still coming to terms with the sharp increase in the cost of goods. The Statistical Institute of Belize measures inflation using a select basket of goods. Year-round, SIB compares the cost of that basket for a single period to the cost during the same period the following year. Looking at individual items, when comparing August 2020 to August 2023, rice and cilantro saw increases. On the other hand, premium fuel for the same two periods saw a decrease in price. SIB considers where there are increases and decreases in the basket to determine the country's overall inflation rate for comparable times. We spoke with Ramil Arana, an independent consultant who specializes in economic and financial analysis to better understand inflation.
Essentially, like you might buy a watch one day and a month down the road, the price of that watch has increased because there is a general movement in prices. We take a weighted average of that basket of goods, 395 goods, and trying to solidify that into one figure, which would be the inflation rate. Now, with those 395 goods, those are separated into 13 different categories. There are different categories like transportation, housing, there's personal care. So the movement in specific goods more or less determines what goes on with the inflation rate.
Across the country, prices on certain food items have seen increases at alarming rates. According to the statistics, 2022 saw the highest level of inflation since 2008. That was at 6.7% overall, more than 3 times the 2% ideal inflation rate. But what has been fueling this rapid rate of inflation? There have been multiple responses to this question. One of the primary answers from the government of Belize has been that Belize imports its inflation.
Madam President, the government is mindful of the effects of the pandemic, the war in Ukraine, slower economic growth, and record inflation in the global north. And we are fully aware that these adverse shocks are having negative effects on the cost of living.
There's a few different factors. All right, there's the demand for a good and service. So those could drive prices high. What happened that after COVID, the demand for all goods and services were increased because during COVID everything was depressed. So you'd find that whatever it is, vehicles, you'll find that our cell phones, everything, the prices started to increase because people wanted more. As it pertains to the cost side now, the cost side has to do with, more than likely, with oil and oil-related products. There was that war between Russia and Ukraine that people might feel had nothing to do with us, but what that did was that constricted the amount of oil and basically gas and all of that was available in the global economy. And the agents out there reacted and they increased the prices.
Consumers' purchasing power weakens due to inflation. That is because rising costs effectively decreases the number of goods or services a person can purchase. We spoke with several persons who have experienced their purchasing power diminish over time.
About 40% more.
Really?
Yeah.
And what kind of items would you say you're seeing increases in?
Everything. Including flour. Yeah.
And you buy gasoline at all, like fuel?
Lot of fuel,
How much are you spending more?
about 200.
I spend like about mostly $1,000 for the month
So,
because everything's expensive, you know. Everything, every time when you go to shop, you find stuff where when it cost $4 last week, this week don't cost $5 or $6. Like flour, rice, and sugar, butter, because I make cakes, you know, so everything.
so you have had to raise your prices on your cake.
Yes, I have to, you know, because the boxes where I used to buy for $2.75, right now they're $5. You know, the cardboard where I used to buy for $3 or $2, right now they're $5.
Every week they're like 150, about $150.
More?
Well, more. Well, I don't spend much because I go to the market, try buy convenient stuff, go to the convenience store and so on. A lot of canned goods are increased, like corned beef for sake, you know. It's really expensive now, so have to stick to reasonable stuff.
In his Independence Day address, Prime Minister John Briceño noted that domestic inflation is expected to fall to 3.7% this year.
Especially pleasing is the forecast for domestic inflation, expected to fall from 6.1% last year to 3.7% this year.
So, does that mean that the cost of food items will begin to decrease and our purchasing power will get better? We asked Arana.
What's happening is that we're not getting a uniform reduction in prices. We're not getting that deflation that we want, but the increase in prices is slowing. The most recent projections that I've seen from the IMF estimates that our inflation will go down to about 1.2%, but that's not until around 2026, 2027. Unfortunately, like I said, prices remain high in several different categories. Again, the food category, the monthly inflation, if you go and check, it's above like 11% for about 8 or 9 months. So we're not going to see that immediate reduction in prices, but we're going to see the rise in prices be subdued.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.